Guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's makeup tutorial, I'm going to be doing some inspired makeup looks from the movie Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. So this is going to be released in New Zealand cinemas on the 17th of October, which is very exciting, and I thought it would be a great idea doing these looks as Halloween is just around the corner. So if you guys want to see how I created these looks, just stick around. So the first look I'm going to do is Aurora's makeup, and she is very soft, beautiful and very natural, but I decided to amp it up a little bit with this look. So first of all, I primed my skin and then I applied some foundation. I actually went half a shade lighter just to give a little bit more of a porcelain kind of finish to my skin, and then I'm going to apply some concealer underneath my eyes just to brighten up that area, and then also on the tops of my lids just to prep my eyes before I lay down my eyeshadow later, and then I'm going to buff it all in with a wet beauty blender. To set everything into place, I'm going to be using a translucent powder, and I'm just going to pat this all over my face and also over my lids to make sure they're well set before I lay down eyeshadow. So now I just want to give a little bit of warmth and shape to my face, so I'm going to be using a bronzer with a big fluffy brush. I'm going to take it closely to the hollows of the cheeks, but a little bit higher than there, and a little bit through my nose and then my temple. So this part I feel is really essential. This is the blush, so we're going to pop this on the apples of the cheeks, but then also very closely towards the nostrils. This is going to give off a really beautiful, nice and natural but innocent kind of look. So now moving on to brows, I'm going to be using a double-sided brush to comb my brows into shape, and then use the angle brush on the other end to apply a brow pomade, and then I'm going to be using a brow gel to comb them upwards to give them a light fluffy appearance to them. And then I'm going to be highlighting my highest points of my cheekbones. So I've used a really nice pink highlighter here, so it kind of just stays on theme with the blush look in my cheeks. So yeah, on the highest points of my cheekbones, then I put it through my cupid's bow and then through the bridge of my nose. Moving on to the eyes, I was definitely inspired to do something a little bit different from Aurora's typical look in the movie. So I'm going to be working with a few blue colors here on my eyes. I've definitely tried to make this look incredibly simple, so I'm going to be working with 3 shades. First of all, I'm going to be using this really nice baby blue matte shadow on my lids. I'm going to be taking it into the eye sockets as the base shade, and I'm just going to be blending that all around with a big fluffy brush. Then I'm going to be taking a slightly deeper blue with a smaller brush, just angling this on the outer corners of my eyes and really packing on the color, and it's just going to start blending into that first shade that we laid down. And just to make sure we've got nice heavy pigment to the eye, making sure that eyeshadow is nice and pure looking, not chalky or patchy, I'm just going to be doing that look one more time, packing the eyeshadow on top to make sure we've got a nice even finish. Now I'm going to be using a liquid glitter shimmer. So I'm going to be taking this from the inner corner of my eye and then taking it about halfway. This is going to give a really nice kind of ethereal look to my eyes. And then I'm going to be using a glitter clear gel in the inner corners of my eyes to really brighten them up. Then I'm going to be taking that slightly darker blue that we used earlier on with an angle brush, and I'm going to be lining the lower lash line just to connect the top to the bottom. Then we're going to chuck on some mascara to thicken up the lashes, top and bottom. And now I'm going to start lining my lips with a really nice nude lip liner, topped off with a really nice nude lipstick on top. It does have a little bit of oomph to it, this lipstick, so I did tissue it down a little bit just to give more of a lip-like kind of finish. And then to really finish off the look, I'm going to be chucking on some really nice full outer corner lashes with some tweezers. And there is the completed look for Aurora, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And now let's move on to the look for Maleficent. So for this look, I feel like the makeup is incredibly simplistic to recreate. The only thing that gets a little tricky is working with the wax for the cheeks, but we will get to that really shortly. So to start off with, I'm going to be priming my skin, and then I'm going to be going back with that double-sided brow brush. I'm going to be combing my brows into shape, and then I'm going to use the angle brush just to start edging out my brows. So I've used a black eyeliner gel to do this, and I've given my brows a very kind of arched, villainous kind of look about them, And after that, I'm going to be taking some concealer with a double-sided concealer foundation brush, and I'm going to start really shaping and chiseling out my brows with this brush. Then I'm going to be using a wet beauty blender just to make sure that concealer is well blended out, and then I'm going to be using my translucent powder to make sure the eyelids are well set before I lay down my eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow I'm going to be working with today is more of a cool toned matte brown, so it's a medium brown, and I'm going to be using a very big fluffy brush to really edge out and make my eye sockets really pop, because this look I feel is kind of like a hollowed dark eye, so it's all about really shaping the eye sockets and lifting the shadow above the eye sockets. So now I'm going to take a slightly more defined eyeshadow brush with the same color, but it's going to be going on a little bit heavier just to really emphasize that eye socket, and then I'm going to be dragging it underneath the eye around the waterline and just starting to blend that out really nicely. Now, to really emphasize that hollowness in the eye, I've used a white matte ivory eyeshadow, taking it up to the eye socket. Now I'm going to be using a gel liquid liner, and I'm going to be placing that really closely along my lash line, giving myself ever so slightly a wing going upwards to really elongate the look of my eye. Now I'm going to apply some really nice fluffy lashes. Maleficent always has really beautiful thick lashes, so I've popped a pair of these on. Now we're going to be moving into the slightly more special effects part of things. Now this is optional. I definitely would highly recommend just using a strong contour through the hollows of the cheeks if you don't want to work with something like this. For me personally, I even found it a little bit difficult to work with. This is probably my second time only working with special effects wax. So you'll see, like, I felt like I got it really perfect, but it's still really hard to sometimes hide the little bumps. But anyways, I had already carved out the cheekbones earlier on, and so I just applied these onto my face. As you can see, I'm using a spatula to make sure that I can smoothen the wax really nicely into my skin, and then I'm using Vaseline over top of it just to make sure that the wax doesn't start sticking to my fingers once it starts warming up the wax. So I've really tried to work this in. I probably worked with it for a good half an hour to get it as smooth as possible. I still don't feel like I got it you know, perfect. So like I said, you've got that option of using just a contour otherwise in the hollows of the cheeks, and then I go in with a cotton tip with some more Vaseline on top of it just to really smoothen out the edges as best I can before I start laying down foundation. So this one is a really pale foundation. I wanted to go with something that was very porcelain-like again, because I feel like Maleficent has a very fair skin tone. So I'm going to be very careful with my foundation over these you know, not hollowed cheeks, sculptured cheeks, and just hope that I don't move them around too much. Now to put a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes, I also used my concealer brush to softly blend that on top of the wax. Now I'm going to be using my beauty blender with some setting powder just to set it into place, and then using a contour shade underneath the sculpture of the cheeks. I'm going to be taking a white eyeliner into the waterline, and then I'm going to be chucking on a couple of coats of mascara on my bottom lashes, and then through my false lashes just so they blend nicely together. Now to apply the very iconic lipstick that Maleficent wears in the movie, I'm going to be applying a red lip line and then a red lipstick. And that is a completed look there for you guys. I really hope you've enjoyed today's little tutorials. I cannot wait for this movie to come out. It's going to be amazing. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you did, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And until next time, I will see you in my next video. See you guys.